Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. Hope you're all well. We're back now to the final beer that I got from Courtney, my daughter, for my birthday. The bottle shop from, what's it called again now? The Cottage Delight. The brewery is actually Staffordshire Brewery. And this beer, certainly the name of the beer, certainly suits me a lot better than the other ones. The first one was Sporty Dad. Like I said, sporty, yeah, if you look at darts as a sport. Outdoor dad, the only outdoors I do is really sort of beer gardens, if I'm honest, or gardening. But this one suits me a little bit better, maybe without the disaster. So we're looking at the DIY Disaster Dad. Maybe not too much disaster, but definitely the DIY Dad. This is a crisp light ale coming in at 4.5% in a 500ml bottle. Don't know how much the box was, don't want to know because it was a gift. But we are going to look at this one. I'm going to guess it's sort of like a pale ale, if you like. So yeah, there's the artwork on it. Typical sort of novelty artwork. Just a plain gold crown. So let's get it cracked open. It's been in the fridge pretty much for the last 2-3 days, 4 days maybe. So it's nice and chilled down to about 4 degrees. I don't have a Staffordshire Brewery glass or one of them, so we're going to whack it in an old traditional RCH brewery glass. Now they are no longer there, and then another brewery took over from them. It's from Weston-super-Mare. And they've gone as well now, so it's a bit of a rare thing that. So we've got one of them glasses. That's what it's going to go in. Let's get it cracked open and see what we get. I'll just give you some of the spiel. They never say much on these bottles. A refreshingly crisp ale with a sharp citrus finish. Contains wheat and barley, and don't drink too much, basically. So let's get it open, get it into a glass, see what we get. I'll give you a review, piss off, go and have me tea, and everyone's happy. Hope you're well. Oh my god, it's looking very light, isn't it? It's looking a bit of a funny colour as well. Is it oxidised? I don't know. So I'm going to say a pale ale. This is probably kind of representing. It looks a little bit, certainly from my side of the camera, your side, you're probably looking at it going, well, is that, it's a very sort of pale ale, maybe lagerish sort of looking thing. And I'm thinking the same thing, really. There's a slight haze to it. There's a few bubbles going up, a few bubbles sticking to the glass as well. A very straw sort of colour, about a finger ahead on it. There we go. I wouldn't say it catches my eye or makes me think, wow, this is going to be great. So we'll dive in with the nose, have a sniff, see what we get. A light crisp ale. For me, it's kind of saying it's half lager, half pale ale. Still got a little bit of a frog in my throat. And it's, yeah, I mean, it's definitely got... The first impressions on the nose is you get that lager malt feel to it. And then there's, I don't know, a light crisp ale. It's got a big lager feel to it, it's got to be said. A big lager feel to it, with maybe a tickle of a pale ale in there. I mean, it doesn't smell terrible, by no means, but a little bit sort of empty. This may be a... Well, there's not a lot. It's malty, it's hoppy, that's about it. The one cat's trying to get in. Yes, Sammy, come in. So, let's get the rest out of the bottle. Top the glass up. I think this is going to be, it says crisp light ale. I think this is going to be more of a lager. DIY Disaster Dad, Staffordshire Brewery, 4.5%, 500ml. Let's dive in. Cheers, Courtney. Well, I will say, Crisp Light Ale describes this perfectly. I think this very much drinks like a lager, but has that little tickle of a pale ale in there. Let's go in again. Do my usual shit that I normally do. Yeah, body-wise, very much like a pale ale, very much like a lager. Carbonation in it is minimal. For me, has a pale ale sort of carbonation buzz to it. Not too rough around the mouth, don't get me wrong. The body is light and the carbonation is there, but it doesn't rough it up too much. So the mouth feels all right. You certainly can't knock it. On the taste, it's definitely a little bit of an odd one. The hops coming more to the forefront now. To start off with, it was very much a lager feel to it. And you still get that lager feel. Drinks like a lager. It's certainly got elements of a lager in there. On the back end, I would say you're almost getting a lager hop feel to it. But I would say initially, when I had that mouthful then, I'm thinking more pale ale, crisp light ale, which is what you would expect. You're getting that hoppiness of a pale ale, but there's almost a hoppiness that comes in on the back, pardon me, that reminds you of a lager. It certainly drinks like a lager. And it does have that crispness of a lager. It's definitely different. It's definitely different. I reviewed the BRLO pale ale the other day, and I said that's kind of lagerish and kind of pale ale-ish. This has both of them elements in there, but it's very different to that one. I've got to say, it is clean, it is crisp, and it is refreshing. It's a nice summer's day drink. 4.5%. I mean, if it was a little bit weaker, you wouldn't really argue it. I wouldn't say you really get that 4.5%, but they're sort of like a ballpark, I think, of ABVs that you can go 0.5% really, I think, with most beers, and kind of say, yeah, it could be that, it could be that, it could be that. This is one of them. It does feel a tad watery, it's got to be said. But, I mean, it's drinkable enough without really doing a massive amount for you. And I think that's how the three beers have been. They've sort of been very much sort of average. I would say the first one was the best one. And they've maybe got worse in the order that I've had them. I'm not going to say really shit, but the sort of beers that I've got from them are exactly what you expect from a little bottle box that you've bought off Amazon, off you know, doing that sort of stuff, if you know what I mean. It's almost novelty, and the beers are almost novelty. Yes, they're all right, they're nothing special. You give them to your dad and he's happy and he drinks them, doesn't think about them, and that's about it, and they'll go, oh yeah, that's nice. When you sit down and sort of dissect it a little bit, there are flaws in them, obviously. Nothing major offensive, but I think this is probably the worst one out of the lot. Although the flavours are okay, I still think this is the worst one out of the lot. But yeah, I mean, it's drinkable enough. I'm not going to have any trouble finishing it or anything. So yeah, Staffordshire Brewery. DIY Disaster Dad. If you've had this box off Amazon, the bottle shop by Cottage Delight, and you've had these beers, let me know what you think. Feel free to comment. Would I recommend buying the box? It's a bit of fun, I suppose, if you're getting a Father's Day present or something. But if you're serious about beer and you want proper nice beer, they're maybe not the best things you're going to pick up. You'll drink them, but, you know, they are what they are. So, yeah, like I say, if you've had them before, let me know what you think. Feel free to comment. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. A big thank you to Courtney for buying me these beers. And I'll see you again soon on another one. Cheers.